Imagine being trapped in a space so small that you can't turn around, can't sit up, can't stand, and can't even properly move your arms. Now imagine realizing that every second you spend there is making your situation worse. That is exactly what happened during one of the most terrifying cave accidents in modern history. In November 2009, a 26-year-old medical student named John Jones decided to go cave exploring with his brother and several friends. Exploring caves was something he had enjoyed for years, and during a family gathering over Thanksgiving weekend, the group decided to visit Nutty Putty Cave in Utah. At first, it seemed like a normal adventure. The cave was famous among explorers because of its narrow passages, unusual formations, and challenging routes. Over the years, thousands of people had visited it. Some sections were difficult, but experienced explorers considered it manageable. That morning, nobody imagined they would become part of a story that people would still be talking about years later. As the group moved deeper underground, they crawled through tight tunnels and narrow openings illuminated only by headlamps. The deeper they went, the darker and quieter the world became. Eventually, John and his brother decided to explore one of the cave's more challenging passages. The route they were looking for was called the Birth Canal. The name alone suggested how tight the space was. Reaching it required squeezing through narrow sections where movement was difficult and every inch mattered. As John crawled forward, he believed he was heading toward the correct passage. But he wasn't. Instead of entering the Birth Canal, he accidentally entered an even narrower tunnel. At first, he didn't realize his mistake. He continued moving forward. The tunnel became tighter, then tighter still. Eventually, John found himself wedged inside a narrow opening with almost no room to move. His body was angled downward. His head was lower than his feet. The deeper he pushed, the worse the situation became. When he finally realized he was in the wrong passage, he tried to back out. Nothing happened. He pushed, pulled, twisted. Nothing. The rock walls held him firmly in place. John was trapped. At first, he remained calm. People who explore caves understand that getting stuck briefly can happen. Usually, the solution is to relax, think carefully, and slowly work your way free. But this situation was different. Every attempt to move seemed to push him deeper. His body slipped farther into the narrow opening. Soon he was trapped upside down at an angle of nearly 90 degrees. Imagine hanging upside down from a playground bar for a minute. Your head begins to feel heavy. Blood rushes downward. Now imagine remaining in that position for hours. That was John's reality. Meanwhile, his brother realized something was wrong. When he reached John, he found him stuck and unable to move. Together, they tried everything they could think of. Nothing worked. Eventually, it became clear that professional rescuers would be needed. A rescue operation began. What followed became one of the most complex cave rescues ever attempted. Teams of rescuers entered the cave carrying ropes, pulleys, climbing equipment, and medical supplies. The challenge was enormous. The cave passages were incredibly narrow. Equipment had to be carried by hand. Many rescuers had to squeeze through the same tight spaces that had trapped John. Despite the difficulties, nobody gave up. Rescuers believed they could bring him home. Hours passed. Then more hours. John remained trapped upside down. Rescuers reached him and spoke with him directly. They tried to keep his spirits up. They offered encouragement. They discussed plans. They worked constantly. At one point, rescuers constructed a complex pulley system designed to pull him free. The plan seemed promising. For a brief moment, hope surged through the rescue team. The system began working. John actually moved. Inches mattered. Every inch was a victory. For a short time, it looked as though the rescue might succeed. Then disaster struck. One of the anchors holding the pulley system failed. The equipment suddenly gave way. Rescuers watched in horror as John slid back into the position he had occupied before. Hours of progress disappeared in seconds. The rescue essentially had to start over. As time continued passing, another problem became impossible to ignore. The human body is not designed to remain upside down for long periods. Blood begins pooling in the upper body. The heart must work harder. Breathing becomes more difficult. Organs experience increasing stress. The longer John remained trapped, the greater the danger became. Still, rescuers refused to quit. More teams arrived. More plans were developed. Experts discussed options. Everyone searched for a solution. But the cave offered almost no room to work. Every task took longer than expected. Every movement was difficult. Every decision carried risks. Meanwhile, John remained remarkably calm considering the circumstances. He spoke with rescuers. He spoke with family members through messages relayed by the rescue team. He thanked people for trying to help him. Many rescuers later said they were deeply moved by his courage. As the hours turned into more than a full day, hope began fading. The rescue operation had become a race against both the cave and time itself. Despite every effort, despite the determination of dozens of rescuers, despite countless hours of work, the situation continued growing more difficult. Eventually, the tragic news arrived. John Jones did not survive. The rescue operation ended, leaving rescuers, family members, and an entire community devastated. In the days that followed, people across the country learned about the accident. Many were shocked. Some had never heard of Nutty Putty Cave before. Others could hardly believe that a simple wrong turn underground could lead to such a tragedy. After careful consideration, officials made a difficult decision. Because of the extreme dangers involved, recovering the body would have placed additional lives at risk. The cave was permanently closed. Its entrance was sealed. In effect, Nutty Putty Cave became John's final resting place. Years later, the story continues to be remembered not because of the cave itself, but because of the people involved. Rescuers risked their own safety trying to help a stranger. Family members never stopped hoping. And John demonstrated extraordinary courage during circumstances most people cannot even imagine. What makes the story so powerful is how ordinary it began. No one set out expecting tragedy. It started as a family outing, an adventure, a chance to explore. Yet one wrong turn in one narrow tunnel changed everything. The story of Nutty Putty Cave serves as a reminder of both the incredible beauty and the very real dangers that exist beneath the surface of our world. And it remains one of the most unforgettable survival stories in modern history.